All right, we've got some salsa chicken coming in hot today. I've got my chicken tenders here. Forgot the scale. Gotta make sure you weigh that chicken, get in those gains. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say I did 6-ish ounces of chicken tenders here, which is about 3 chicken tenders. Honestly, I don't even know why I weigh it anymore, because at this point, it's pretty much going to be 3 chicken tenders every time if I leave it in tender form. If I cut it up, I can be a little bit more accurate. But I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on the chicken tenders just to make sure that seasoning sticks. And then we're going to start off with some Julios. This seasoning is so good. They make the chips too, and this is the seasoning that they put on the chips. Honestly, it's basically just kind of like a seasoned salt, but the reason it's so good is because it does have MSG in it. So, all right, next we got some chili powder. Chili powder is pretty standard for the flavor profile that I'm going for. A little bit of a Mexican-ish, a little Tex-Mex type flavor profile here. And next I've got some paprika, beautiful smoked paprika. Paprika honestly does not add a lot of flavor unless it's smoked. It's really just for color. It just makes everything look pretty and red. Next I've got some cayenne. I am going to go a little bit heavy on this cayenne. I guess on the heavier side, because the salsa that I'm going to be adding doesn't have a lot of heat. So that's where all my heat is going to come from. Again, we've got some cumin, pretty standard for the Tex-Mex flavor profile. So I'm just going to get that mixed up here in a second. Today, I was really craving rice and beans. I knew I had some chicken at home, so I kind of came up with this idea for a little salsa chicken with some beans and rice. I was really just craving that. After my workout, I literally went to H-E-B just for the beans and the salsa. So there's the rice that I made the night before. It's a little bit kind of like a Mexican style rice, but honestly, it might be a disgrace to call it that. I literally just toasted up the rice, put some chicken broth, some spices, and I didn't have tomato sauce, which I think is what you would typically use for like a Mexican style rice. So I used ketchup. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. But I just was kind of winging it. I just made it up. I made it the night before, so I was just heating that up in the microwave. And then here in my little pot, I've got these H-E-B refried beans with jalapenos. They were actually surprisingly very delicious. I did not think that they would be that spicy, but they were in fact that spicy. So that was a great choice. We'll definitely be purchasing those again. Straight out of the can, they were pretty stiff. And I was worried about them burning to the pot. I don't really eat refried beans all that much. So I put a little water in them, which ultimately I kind of regret. I think that heated up, they would have just loosened up to a perfect consistency on their own, but they ended up being a little bit liquidy. So bummer. I pretty much didn't do anything to those beans other than literally heat them up. So here I'm just kind of waiting for my pan to heat up. I stick the chicken in there and I did not hear a sizzle. I did not feel like it was hot enough. So plop, take him right back out. No thank you, ma'am. Okay, now she's hot enough. So I stick them all back in there. Chicken, sizzle away. Sizzling away. Delicious. I guess I could I could just leave the actual audio in there. How embarrassing. What's next, Rainbow? Oh, we're gonna stir up those beans. I kind of just let them start to heat up a little bit. And oh, look at how liquidy they look. Oh, how ugly. Anyways, the chicken's kind of starting to get going. Honestly, I felt like it took forever. I rarely cook chicken in this form. I mostly put it in chunks, but wow, look at that color. That is beautiful. All of those seasonings browning up, looking gorgeous. It smelled amazing in the kitchen. However, I'm temping them, trying to see if they're ready because I'm getting impatient. 135, not ready. Yikes. Flipping him around. What's the next one say? 154. I'm happy with that one. That one's probably good. The carryover heat will take it to that 160 range. And oh, that one's 152. Is that what that said? I think it's that the one on the bottom that took forever. Those two will finish with carryover heat, as well as the fact that I'm going to put them in salsa and cook them more later. I'm kind of cool with that. This last one is nowhere near done, so I'm going to leave it in the pan for a while. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced this, but when like you're cooking spicy foods, you're cooking something with a lot of seasoning on it, it starts to like get in the air and you're like coughing and like choking, like because it's like you're breathing in the spiciness. There was a lot of that going on in this audio that you know, don't have to hear. So that one's finally done, kind of getting there. I decided to go ahead and plop the other two back in there. And then go grab the salsa. It's H-E-B brand, Chipotle garlic. I really, again, wasn't going for like heat here. I was just kind of going for flavor. I just didn't want to eat like plain chicken. So I just felt like it needed some sauce, but I just didn't really know what kind of sauce to make. So I was literally like, let me just pour salsa on it. I think that'll work. So I bought this salsa, Chipotle garlic. It actually ended up being pretty good. I used the rest of the jar in something else later. I don't remember. Maybe I filmed it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe we'll get to see. Oh, actually, I think I did. Anyway, just a couple spoonfuls of that. Plop it all on. Wow, that's sizzling. That looks great. Actually, you can't really tell it's sizzling yet. Once I flip it around, then you can start to see it sizzle nice. Nice. That looks so beautiful. Oh, perfect. So like I said, those last few degrees that were on the chicken, it was 154, I think 152, it's gonna carry over as it sits in the pan for the rest of the time there. There's my watery beans. They really were okay. They were just like a little bit on the thin side. So there's my disgrace of Mexican rice that I had made the day previous that I just put in the microwave. I'm going to load up the rest of my half of a plate with my beans. Beans. Oop, that was a horrible, horrible impression. If I'm smart enough and I can figure it out, I'll put the beans meme over me saying that. And I'm going to plate her up, put my chicken on there. Oh, wow, that's gorgeous. I love these little red plates. I use them all the time. It's like a plate bowl. It's pretty much all I eat out of. Pour all the salsa on there. Wowzers. I'm a chef. Look at that. Wow. 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 That looks so yummy. Delicious.